Okay, so then I just put different colors. I stuck with a couple basic colors, and I kept a one shade of blue and a shade of green and a little pink. The pink was cherry blossom. I think the blue was blue skies and the green was olive green. And a little bit of antique lace, I believe is what it was. And just spritzed them all over the pages. Some of them I just put one or two colors and a little bit of the graphite. I really liked that little bit of a black look. And just put various patterns. I didn't want to cover the whole piece of paper. I wanted it to be very light. I'm going to go back and stamp. And some of them I sprayed a little bit heavier, and even sprayed it real heavy and then misted it with water and let it run down because I wanted this kind of watercolor look on it. And it just came out really pretty. So these are all the pages that I have. And again, this is only 12 pages, and this is the back. Just gonna keep that plain right now. This was only 12 pages of watercolor, and look how thick and just textured, and I love that. That's really pretty. So what I'm going to do now, before I finish embellishing this cover, because I want to put some lace on here, and I want to put some grunge board and a couple other embellishments, but before I go any further, I need to go ahead and punch it for my binding. So I'm using my Zutter Bind It All. So again, one thing that I've learned is it's a really good idea to make a practice cut, and I'm not sure, I have decided that I just want to have two sections, like one here and one here, but I'm not sure how far I want them apart. So I think I'm going to use this little bar here, and instead of having it right up next to the edge, I'm going to use this and just come out a little bit from the edge. So I'm putting this right at about a 2, which is on this little piece right here, and hopefully you can see that. There's little marks, 1, 2, 3, so I'm just going to put it right at about the 2 and lock it in place. And then here's a piece of paper that's cut in 9.5 because my board was my cover was 9.5 inches. Roll this around. Open that up to open, and then let's see if that's going to give the look that I want. So I'm going to bring this in, butt it all the way up to this little arm, and punch a set of holes. And see, and I did not open. Thank goodness. See why I always do a practice cut? Because I'm always forgetting something. I think I'm always in a rush. That's part of my problem. That looks okay. I may not want it that far. So let's bring this in just a little bit. Let's bring it in like about halfway. And what I'll do is just take the same piece of paper and fold it again, just so I have a little edge. See, I've already been making practice cuts. This one I did all the way continuous. This one I messed up, didn't get in there straight. So let's try this and see if that is going to be the look that I want. Make sure that you're all the way down at the bottom, and then press it, and then flip it over, do the same side. That looks better. I think that's the look I'm going for, but maybe just a little bit more. This is trial and error. I'm going to bring it just out to the 1. We're just going to bring it straight to the 1 and lock it in place. Fold the paper again, because this is just a test cut. Just some scrap paper that I had. Yes, I like that better. I wanted a bigger space in the middle here, and yet a little bit of a space. I didn't want it this close to the edge. See how close that is to the edge. So that's good. So I'm going to keep this at 1, and then I'm going to go through here now, and I'm going to punch all of my stuff. So here's my cover. We're going to put it on the edge. We're going to push this down all the way down. This is really thick board, so you're going to have to just move my little board. But make sure that it's down there all the way, and it's right up against my arm that I extended, and punch. There we go. Now I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing to the other side. If you have the blue bind it all, this may not fit so well because the blue bind it all is not as deep as it doesn't have as wide as an opening. Sorry, not as deep. It's not as wide through here as the pink, but you might be able to kind of push it down in there. So now I'm going to go through and just take a couple pieces of the inner pages and do the same thing. Make sure it's flush up against here, all the way down to the bottom, and punch. So I'm going to do this all the way through, and then I'm going to finish decorating my cover, and I'll come back and we'll put it together and I'll show you what it looks like all complete. Thanks! Okay, so here is the book complete. I added some different little embellishments and glued them to the front, a grunge board butterfly, stamped this on grunge board and then cut it out, inked it with some of the Distress inks, just tied some various ribbons and fibers, just a few, not a whole lot because it's already kind of difficult to turn because it's so chunky like this, but I really like it. Oh, here's the little key that goes with the lock, and I just love this book. I don't think it's going to video and show you the glimmer and the mist and just the fabulous little artsy details that's in here, but this is it complete. I took different stamps and just stamped on every page, and either like this one here, I put some perfect pearls on it after stamping it. So a couple of them have perfect pearls and a few are just inked stamps. So hopefully you can see what I have. Again, this one here is pearled. Barely see it, and that's what I wanted. I want a real subtle effect on most of the pages. And this was one stamp that I just colored in different inks as I was stamping it. So this is my book. This is the finished project, and now I can go in and put either copies of projects that I want to work on or write in here things that I want to do and create, and have my idea journal that I wanted to make. Got to play with my distresser, and that's my book. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for taking the time to look. Bye.